Hi, I'm Badr. I'm financially free from property and have been for a number of years. Today I wanted to speak about property management agencies. So for many years I self-managed my properties. When I got up to about 7 or 8 properties, I was also working full-time in another city, and I was able to manage my properties by myself without that much hassle. By then, due to the invention of things like WhatsApp and email was already prevalent, you can easily take breaks in between work just to check if things are operating as they should, whether there are any tenant issues. You can reply to emails or take agency calls during breaks. And to be honest, this happened very rarely, even when I had a number of properties. So it's all very manageable, and the point of growing wealth and passive income is for things to be as automated as they can be. However, I believe that in order to scale, you do need to move to the management option. So most management agencies will charge about 10%. Before I got any property education, I used to see adverts for agencies that would take about 4% to manage or 7% to manage. But the advantage of having a mentorship or some basic training in property helps you realise that agencies that charge such low amounts for rental cannot have a sustainable business model. It tends not to work in the long term. It's important to network and get to know the best agencies in your area. You can see who you gel with, and if you're able to meet property managers who you have a good rapport with, or who even seem professional, they can take on your properties, and for just taking a 10% cut, this can free up a lot of your time and help you to focus on more important things like searching for new opportunities rather than managing tenants. After a few years of self-managing, I then started to get more and more of my properties managed. This was also to build ties with a local agent who had given me a lot of information for free and had helped me in my property journey. So if I give him more properties to manage, this is what he wants. It expands his business, it frees up my time, and he's more likely to work with me again in future. I am told that certain agencies do things such as, if you go for the self-managed options, then they are more likely to give you the more difficult tenants, because it then becomes your problem to deal with the tenants and not the agency. If you let the agency fully manage your property, then they are more likely to choose the tenants who may be less work to manage, because they have to deal with it. So this way the agency can deal with the process more efficiently, and you can potentially have better tenants in your properties that are more likely to look after it better. I don't know how true this is, but I have been told this off the record. But basically, in order to scale, wealth is about delegation. So if you want to build more wealth, you find someone who's very professional at tenanting and managing properties. It's their job to do it. They've spent their life in this business, and they know many things that it would take you years to learn yourself. So it's not an effective use of time for you to try to learn everything they know and then try and do it yourself. It's better to pay someone 10% who has a vast history of managing properties, so that, as mentioned, you can free up your time to focus on more important things. What happened in my instance was that one of the best local agencies, I've given a number of my properties to them to manage. I then retained a few of my properties to self-manage, and as a general rule of thumb, I thought to myself that if the tenants become problematic, then I will hand them over to be managed by the agency. I did have a tenant who didn't let me get a gas engineer into the property in order to service the boiler. This became a problem, and it turned into an argument from the tenant side. Luckily, everything was done in WhatsApp or email, which is also important, because then you have a track record that you can prove. I subsequently just told her that I was handing the property over to an agency to manage, and they dealt with it professionally and got everything done. So again, this is an example of how it frees up your time. It would have caused me more stress and trouble to try to get this done myself, whereas if I pay a management agency a small fee to deal with this, the work gets done quicker and it frees up my time and doesn't stress me. At this stage, I currently still manage a few of my property. One of them is now vacant because I tried to sell it, but it did not sell because it wasn't a good market for selling, and now I'm going to get it re-tenanted, but this time I'll get it managed. So in essence, management agencies are often a good option. If you have multiple properties, pay a good agency to source, vet, tenant, and then manage the properties on your behalf. This helps build passive income, and you can get to a stage quite quickly where you have multiple properties and you can deal with everything via email or WhatsApp. You never need to go to properties. I've had properties sourced for me by an agent I trust, properties that I haven't even seen, because they've sourced them for me. I've paid sourcing fee, they've tenanted them for me. They deal with day-to-day management and activities for me, and it's no hassle for myself and frees up my time to look for new opportunities. Thanks for listening. Good luck with your property journey, and please let me know if you need any advice or coaching on such matters.